Serie A Fiorentina vs AC Milan prediction, team news, lineups preview. Squaring off after contrasting results in Europe, Fiorentina and AC Milan will meet at Stadio Artemio Franchi for Serie A's Sunday night showdown. While the Viola eventually scraped past modest Conference League opponents, Milan could not build on their improved domestic form, suffering a second Champions League defeat in 2 games. Match preview. Having reached the final in both of the past 2 years, Fiorentina were overwhelming favourites to see off Welsh outsiders the New Saints when kicking off their latest Conference League campaign on Thursday. However, it took over an hour to break TNS down. Yassine Adli finally started the scoring on 65 minutes, before Moise Kean effectively made the point safe soon after, turning a rebound home from close range. It had previously taken a penalty shootout to edge past Tuscan's academy in the playoffs, and Fiorentina's league form has been inconsistent since Raffaele Palladino took over from former boss Vincenzo Italiano. The Viola had failed to win any of their first 4 Serie A fixtures before beating Lazio deep into September, and a dull derby draw with Tuscan rivals Empoli led to more frustration last weekend. A goalless stalemate at Stadio Castellani left Fiorentina occupying 11th place in the standings, averaging just over 1 point per game. Nonetheless, they have been tough to beat on home soil for some time now, losing only one of their last 11 league games in Florence against none other than Milan, back in March, including that 2-1 victory, which completed the double over Fiorentina last season. Milan have won 6 of their last 8 Serie A matches against Sunday's hosts. While the Rossoneri come into the weekend unbeaten in 4 league outings, most notably ending Inter Milan's dominance in the derby, they have not been able to replicate such form against top-class opponents in Europe. Handed a couple of tough tests in the Champions League, Paulo Fonseca's side were first beaten at home by Liverpool, then edged out by German champions Bayer Leverkusen on Tuesday evening. Milan have now won only 9 of their last 33 games at the elite level, despite making it through to the 2023 semi-finals, and they have plenty of catching up to do if they are to secure a cherished top 8 finish in the new league phase. Back on the domestic scene, the Rossoneri sat in 3rd spot after 6 Serie A matches, following last week's 3-0 win over Lecce, as strikes from Alvaro Morata, Theo Hernandez and Christian Pulisic took them top of the goal rankings with 14. That equals the club's second-best tally at this stage of a season since the turn of the century, proving that defensive doubts may always plague Fonseca's teams, but they often outscore lesser opposition. Team news. Aside from retaining Christian Kwame and shifting the Ivorian forward up front, Raffaele Palladino changed his entire starting 11 in midweek. Fiorentina will be back at full strength on Sunday evening. Palladino switched to a 4-2-3-1 formation for the Derby dell'Arno against Empoli, then continued with that setup versus TNS, but it remains to be seen whether the hosts revert to a more familiar back 3 to keep Milan at bay. Defensive trio Luca Ranieri, Pietro Camuzzo and Lucas Martinez Corda will return after serving UEFA suspensions, which increases Palladino's options, but Croatian centre-back Marin Pongracic is again ruled out by a thigh problem. Meanwhile, Milan naturally named a strong side to tackle Leverkusen, and few changes are expected for their final fixture before the international break. Tammy Abraham and Alvaro Morata will either compete for one place or join forces in attack, but Rafael Leo and Christian Pulisic are sure to feature in the final third. Leo scored his first Milan goal versus Fiorentina back in 2019 and has also found the net in his last 3 league matches against them. Meanwhile, September Serie A Player of the Month nominee Pulisic has scored in each of his last 3 top-flight appearances. Marco Sportiello hand, Ismail Benacer ankle and Alessandro Florenzi ACL are all sidelined. But captain Davide Calabria is back in action after overcoming a muscular injury. Fiorentina possible starting lineup: De Gea, Martinez, Corta, Camuzzo, Ranieri, Dodo, Cataldi, Bove, Gozens, Colpani, Goodmanson, Keane. AC Milan possible starting lineup: Mainin, Emerson, Gabbia, Pavlovic, Hernandez, Fofana, Reinders, Pulisic, Morata, Leo, Abraham. We say, Fiorentina 1-1 AC Milan. Though Milan's domestic form is on the rise, Fiorentina are rarely beaten on Tuscan turf and should be able to resist their visitors from the second city. The Rossoneri are still vulnerable at the back, so the Viola can score at least once and add another point to their modest Serie A tally. Thanks for your watching. Don't forget to click the subscribed button and hit the bell icon for more.